As much as I love movies, there are a ton of movies that I have never seen that I feel everyone else on the planet has already seen. All the time, people tell me, "You haven't seen The Lion King? You haven't seen Top Gun? You haven't seen The Goonies?" Or whatever other classic movie that I never bothered to watch when they came to theaters. A couple of weeks ago, I decided that I'm going to change all that. I'm going to finally watch all those movies and talk about them on this show. I started binge watching Toy Story trilogy last week, which was the last episode. This week, for its 33rd anniversary, I finally saw Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This movie stars Matthew Broderick as Ferris Bueller, Alan Ruck as Cameron Fry, and Mia Sara as Sloane Peterson. This movie has been written and directed by John Hughes, who's also known for directing classic 80s comedies like The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, 16 Candles, which is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year, She's Having a Baby, and Uncle Buck. He's also been writing movies like Home Alone, the National Lampoon's Vacation movies of the 80s, and Pretty in Pink. Basically, when we think of an iconic 80s comedy or a teen dramedy, we're thinking of a John Hughes movie. With that being said, this movie is about a high school kid who cooks up an elaborate excuse to get a day off from school. He spends that day with his best friend and his girlfriend, driving around and enjoying the sights of Chicago. He has a jealous sister, played by Jennifer Grey, who's probably best known as being a baby in Dirty Dancing, who hates him because he gets away with all his BS. A high school principal who is willing to go way too far to prove that Ferris is lying about being too sick to come to school. The plot is as simple as that. Ferris has a bunch of gadgets and gimmicks to prevent people from finding out he's not really sick. A mannequin in his bed, snoring coming from his stereo speakers, a recorded message from behind the door in case someone rings the doorbell. The entire movie is about these kids having a good time and getting back before anyone finds out they were gone. Everyone in this movie is rich and spoiled in some way or another. Ferris would totally be the stereotypical bad guy in another movie of that same time. He's a manipulative rich kid who can get away with everything he does. The kid with a face you just want to punch just to get him to shut up. But in this movie, he's also the hero. The movie is named after him. All the students of his school love him. The people of the suburb they live in love him. And it's the running joke of the entire movie about how everyone knows him and hopes he gets well soon. But he's not the protagonist of this movie. He can't be. The protagonist of a story is the one who has to make a change at some point because of the actions of the antagonist. Ferris's character doesn't change at all in the course of this movie. He is the same kid at the end as he was in the beginning. The same with his girlfriend Sloane. The protagonist of this movie is Cameron. He's manipulated by Ferris into taking his father's most prized possession, his Ferrari, for a joyride throughout the city, despite the fact that he knows that he will be in a ton of trouble for doing it. Cameron has daddy issues, which makes him hate and fear his father as well as seek his love at the same time. When eventually the car gets jacked up, Cameron is forced to face his issues with his dad, even though that all takes place after the movie is already over. Cameron is the only one who really changes himself through the movie. Everyone has been trying to tell me for years how great this movie is and how funny it is and how they are so surprised that I'd never seen it because it was so good. I thought it was okay. It's not a bad movie. It's funny, but definitely not one of Hughes's best. I found myself hating Ferris and wanting someone to kick him in the butt at some point in the movie. The most entertaining scene in this movie is, to me anyway, involved Charlie Sheen. If they were to make a sequel of this movie, Ferris would be some sort of sleazy politician. The first words he says to a non-white person in this movie is literally,
"You speak English?"
It's a bunch of rich white kids doing rich white kid stuff. I give it 3 stars.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You just saw a segment of the Bronx Movie Club hosted by me, Justin McCullough. If you like what you see, please do not hesitate. Click on the subscribe button down below, click on the little bell up there, and click the like button because you obviously like the program. You can see other segments of my show, which I have in my video section. I have the most anticipated movies of 2019. I have some reviews that you would like to watch, things of that nature. And you can also catch me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Stardust, um, Letterboxd, you name it, I'm there. So, yeah, I'll see you soon.